we didn't get into this yesterday, but this is a major story that happened, and I'm sure you're going to have excellent things to say about this. But as reported in the Washington Post, Hillary Clinton has been coming out in full force against Bernie, much like she did last time. Uh, so Hillary Clinton is pointing to alleged sexism in Bernie's campaign. She also went on to say something like, nobody likes Bernie. And then it started trending on Twitter. I like Bernie, of course, because that's where we're at. That's where the Bernie people are. We're younger, right? We're not just getting brainwashed by Fox News. Anyway, she also said that the sexism in Bernie's campaign, like she would know, is part of a, it's part of a larger problem. That's basically what she said, which is just the craziness. Did you hear about this?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's huge. Right? Are people talking about it out there?
Yes. In fact, I think people might be talking about it too much. I'm not talking about the Bernie staffers, but I just mean like in general. I don't know what you think about this, Juliana, but I think the Hillary Bernie stuff needs to die. Did you see his response to it?
No, what did he do?
Oh, it was so funny. No, he handled it great.
Okay, good.
A reporter asked him about it, and he said,
Did
"Look,
he say Hillary who? I'm sorry, who?"
no, he said, look, on a good day, my wife likes me. So let's just call that what it is." And then he pivoted to talking about impeachment. So
it's called funny, is what it is. Go Burns.
I like whether it's Warren versus Bernie or Bernie versus Hillary. Like, I'm just over it.
Oh my God! So this is what she said. Her new interview, that I will do anything I can to defeat President Trump in 2020. But in the same interview, she basically savaged Sanders. She didn't say if she would endorse him if he is the nominee. Do you think she is just, let's speculate here. People in the chat, I'd like to hear what you think. And also Jocelyn, let's speculate. Is she just personally, upset because she still blames Sanders for part of her loss against Trump? Is that it's a personal vendetta? Is it, even though he came out for her and he campaigned for her, why does he always have to be the better person?
I think
do you think it's part of like a larger strategy of the corporate Democrats to keep Bernie down? Discuss.
So I have a lot of friends that worked in the Clinton White House. And I think a lot of this gets elaborated more than it needs. Like, the reality is that Hillary Clinton is just a corporate Democrat. That is who she is. And I'm not even saying that as a slur. Like, that is her personality. She believes in using the system as it is to make certain neoliberal changes that will improve. These people believe in the structures that be. And I think it's really important to look at Hillary and Bill Clinton's story when we talk about the things they say. These are people who are born to working class backgrounds, got Ivy League educations, and then launched themselves into the 1%. So I don't think it's shocking or even that like terribly whatever that these people view the system as having a positive bias because it worked for them. These are working class people. And I think it's really important to talk about that when we talk about the Clintons. So of course they're going to have that bias because their story was one where they were able to educate their way out of it, and like, good for them. But they don't have the mentality that for most working class people, even bright, talented, hardworking ones, that doesn't work out, And that's why Bernie Sanders has the appeal he does, because look, you make one mistake and you're from a working class background, you're not going to Yale. Where George W. Bush was able to go with straight C's. Maybe there's something happening here.
That is actually really interesting. There's that whole idea of people who make it and then they pull up the ladder behind them. And I remember when Clinton was running, he was the candidate that was supposed to, I feel your pain and all of that. He was the candidate that people thought it could relate to the working man, woman, child, etc. What do you think about that, Jocelyn?
I totally agree with that. Yeah, I mean, it's not.
But we've come a long way from that.
Right. Well, yes. I
Yeah,
think
the issue is like Bernie is a senator in the United States Congress, and if he's, he's not pulling up the ladder behind him, and he has managed to be part of the, at least the 1% in terms of power. I'm not sure about his income, but he's in the 1% in terms of having some say in the direction of the country as a leader. He hasn't pulled up the ladder.
Right. And it's funny, a lot of Bernie has gotten a lot of skepticism about his finances because he's like technically a millionaire or whatever. But I think what people are missing is there's a difference between a millionaire in the sense that you're worth a few $1,000,000 because of the homes you own and your retirement funds or whatever, and being a multimillionaire. Like, you technically,
I really don't begrudge people money if they're doing something good with the money. Fine, I that's fine as long as it wasn't gotten by ill-gotten means, which, as we talked about yesterday, most billionaires, their money came from ill-gotten means. You can look at the stream yesterday and talk about that. I do want to say what's going on in the chat is Johnny Anonymous says that Hillary blames everyone but herself for losing, which I agree with. And Jax says, Jaxie Mahide, it is still personal. If Bernie gets the nominee, then he wins the election. Then a lot of what people said in 2016 will be validated about how Bernie could have beaten Trump back then. And Epic 878787 says Tulsi is now suing Hillary for $50 million for her Russian asset smear.
Oh my God, I saw that.
Hillary is debuting a film. There's a new documentary called Hillary, which is debuting at the Sundance Film Festival. And in the documentary, these are Clinton's words. We're going to play a little video here. And this is what she basically says to Sanders. So let's take a look at this. If we can. Not that we want to watch a lot of Hillary videos, but here we are.
As a small business owner, the one thing you learn pretty quickly is that there's a lot to learn. Grow with Google is here to help you with turning ideas into action, putting your business on the map, connecting with customers, and getting the skills to use new tools. So,
I provoke strong opinions.
Are we ready? There's so much to talk about.
Okay. I didn't grow up thinking about going into politics, but much to my surprise, was elected president of the Young Republicans. I got into law school. I thought I'm going to try to make a difference in people's lives.
I took a class and I saw Hillary sitting there.
And he was watching me.
She closed her law book.
I said, if you're going to keep looking at me and I'm going to keep looking back, we ought to know each other's names. I'm Hillary Rodham. Who are you?
She was different than anybody I ever met. I said, I really want to marry you, but you shouldn't marry me.
You knew already.
There is a set of expectations about a first lady. I violated them from the very beginning.
She brought to the forefront women's roles in society.
This is radical feminism.
Me deciding to ask Hillary to become Secretary of State surprised people.
Hillary's polarizing.
Human rights are women's rights, and women's rights are human rights.
People would run up clutching copies of that speech, reciting that line from it.
Emails
blew up.
Bang. It played into all of the suspicions. She's so sketchy.
Cold, calculating.
She could actually be crazy.
There is this sense that she knows that she is an ethical, moral person, and that can blind anyone.
You know, you get scarred up a little bit.
It wasn't like I thought, how can I think about the most stupid thing I could possibly do and do it?
I didn't want anything to do with him. Chelsea put herself between us and held both our hands.
As long as she has been in public light, there have been these ups and downs. Be our champion, go away.
You want to make a difference, you want to have an impact. Well, then you got to get in the arena.
Boy, ain't that the truth about got to get in the arena? I'm not going to go see that movie.
Oh, I am? Why not?
Because I have limited time. You can tell us what it is. You're going to go see it?
Sure. Wait, so if it's at, does this mean it's on Hulu currently? Because yeah, I'll watch it. I'll watch it.
Oh, it says a Hulu documentary. I don't have Hulu, so
All
now
right,
that I can go see it, now
watch
that
it.
I can see it at home, then maybe I'll watch it. I'm still way behind in my documentaries, so there's that. Any final parting thoughts about this? We'll move on.
You know, I mean, I do think it's really important for us to move into a more progressive space without negating what people like the Clintons did do. You know, I mean, they had a really important role to play, and they did a lot of things that I think we can all agree were bad, just flat out bad. But it's also important to remember that Hillary was a woman in politics in a time very, very unlike today, and that the Hillarys did pave the way for the AOCs, maybe not even on purpose, but, you know, women Hillary's age were pantsuit wearing ball busters, so women like me could post about love on the internet and still be taken seriously professionally. You know, like, it's a different era now.
She also worked for healthcare. You know, she did lay the foundation for certain things. There was not going to be sort of a President Bernie Sanders during Bill Clinton's time. It just wasn't time in history for that.
And I think it's really important, you know, like, that we are able to be grateful to these people without letting them off the hook. You know, these aren't Newt Gingriches and stuff. I see a lot of people be like, oh, both parties are the same. No, it's kind of ridiculous. You can look at the flaws of corporate Democrats without conflating them with legitimate fascists. So
you said it. Awesome. Thank you, Jocelyn. Gosh, you're so knowledgeable and